Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. You're watching Learn Tech with Sandeep Das, and in this session today we're going to talk a very brief about the infrastructure as code in the right way and what or which tool to use for your next infrastructure as code project. Okay, but before we start, I know it takes some time that people get notified and then to join. So we'll just wait for 2 minutes for the join. In between, while this is going on, why not you guys just introduce yourself, from where you're joining, be it if you're from LinkedIn or YouTube, whatever. Just let me know from where you're joining. I got excited to know from which part of the country you're joining, and yeah, I just like that part. And of course, if you have any question, feel free to ask in advance. I'll be definitely answering that. Okay, let me see. And yeah, I will answer question from your from either YouTube or LinkedIn, so both places. Okay, and this is going to be a very interesting session, by the way. If you're already part of the Linux subs community, you already got an weekly update email by now, and yeah, I think it's good. Yeah, keep the question rolling. Okay, I'll answer them. Okay, a lot of things happened during the week. Just publish. Okay, so now let me start. Oh, from Nepal. Hi, Rakesh. Okay. So let's start with some context. Okay, why I'm talking about choosing the this infrastructure code tool selection. During my last 10 years, I've been I've worked with Terraform. That's was my first infrastructure code. Ansible, and this Pulumi. Okay, that Pulumi came very interesting way. A company offered 100K USD for Pulumi, and that is the time I didn't knew about Pulumi. Okay, I thought, what exactly is Pulumi? Let's learn about that. So I learned about that. I got a project. I worked for 5-6 months. Then I moved to another project, but that project gave me really well. So all these things, you need to know. It's not like one tool perfect for everything. There are a lot of tools available. As you're talking about the infrastructure code, but selecting that particular tool has a important decision to make. Okay, by the way, the tool should not depict or say the solution is the solution that you're targeting. Based on that, you should be use the tooling. Okay, and I'll come to that, don't worry. I see people are joining. A lot of people join already, more than 60 I see. Ajit. Okay, now, before I will say, I will not take too much of your time. I will just go direct to the point. I have already made the decision tree using which it is much more easier to select what should be your next infrastructure as a code tool. Okay, I'll not take too much time of yours. So let me start directly with that. I hope you guys can see my screen. And this is the simple table I built. I'll show the post also. Actually, let me give you the link to the post, which will be better, I guess. Um, if you are from LinkedIn, I don't have the option to directly give you the link. Unfortunately, you can just go to Linux Ops and you can see the latest post is this one. Okay. If you're in the YouTube, on the other hand, I just posted in the comment section. You can just directly go there. Okay. No problem on that part. There you will get the addition tree, but I'm showing it anyway, so you don't have to go right now. You can go later on. It's fine, and I can zoom the much more I want. That's the benefit here. Okay. So you need the infrastructure code. Okay, but for what need? It could be that you have a requirement. Okay, there is requirement as also. Is it you are interacting with the OS level? For example, you have to install some packages. You have to restart your, say, virtual machines, or maybe do some kind of configuration management. Then you should be utilizing something called Ansible. Okay, and if you're not sure what is Ansible, this is the article I've already written on the Ansible basics. By the way, I think most of you guys are not sure about how to search. Like, the Linux jobs actually have lot of content. So I think more than 150 something content. So best way, like, search here. Okay, for example, you're looking for Ansible. Just to give you example, Ansible. See, you have Ansible, so many articles, playbook, vault, this and that. For example, you're looking for Terraform. So you see, just search Terraform and you see Terraform, there are so many articles. So keep using those things. Okay. Now let's go with the Ansible basics. So there already I have covered the Ansible basics, where it is enough to get. So even I have a video also on full course, so you can just go ahead and learn this. Okay, I'm not going to teach you Ansible right now. You already have the content, video in the form of text, say blog. You already have that. So I'm just telling you that if you have the requirement of just interacting with the OS level components, could be, for example, uh, it could be just installing some software, maybe Nginx, maybe Apache, maybe some XYZ tool. It could be Terraform, for example, just installing on some PC, or maybe latest tool that is I'm utilizing this, just OpenOps, for example, which is a FinOps tool. I'm experimenting a lot with that. So these tools you can utilize using Ansible itself very easily on multiple kind of ways, and multiple, say you have 10, 20,000 virtual machines, you want to install some software, then you have Ansible. You don't need Terraform, you don't need Crossplane, you don't need something like say CDK, nothing like that. Okay, you just have a software requirement. You should be going for the configuration management in simple words. Then you should be going towards the Ansible, right? One question I will definitely would love to answer from Videsh. Uh, okay, saying in real time, what type of task we'll face on Terraform? Please show us on them. Yeah, I will definitely answer that. Okay, don't worry. Let's go with the flow, this one first, and of course keep asking the question. I will definitely come and answer, be it on LinkedIn, be it on say on YouTube. I will definitely answer in the both place. Okay, so don't worry, you can just post your question. Hello Avesh, Shai Kumar, how about Ansible, Linux? Definitely, I'm already talking about that. Okay, enlarge. Okay, it's already enlarged, I think, Rahul. So much enlarged. Okay, so you should be able to see now. Can you just give the strategy on how to search project? I have less than 2 years. Okay, I'll look at that. Join from Poland. This is Rahul. Thank you. So I think I know people are joining all over the world, not just country, and I'm happy to know that. Okay. So yeah, so you have the clear idea which OS related, if it's package installation related, if it's configuration related in general, you should be going for Ansible, Vagrant, or sort like that. Okay, now if you have the requirement of a real programming language, or say it's about actual cloud infrastructure, or maybe some Kubernetes related, or it could be say GitHub, for example, where you want to use actual code and non OS specific, not configuration specific, but actual component could be cloud components or resources. Component could be some, say Cloudflare, which is a cloud, for example, provider, you can say in simple words. Or could be GitHub, for example, you want to create a GitHub repo on the fly. Those are the SaaS or cloud specific requirement, which is not OS specific, right? Then you come to the requirement of this. Okay, so do you prefer HCL, JSON, HCL, which is no code, honestly? And I mean, of course some code is involved, which is about the YAML, JSON, HCL, which is not as programmatic specific as real program. For example, not Python, which is a high level programming language, say Python. Then you have JavaScript or TypeScript. Then you have this Golang. So all those things kind of programming languages where you will actually code your logic using the provider, say modules or APIs, and then you work on. I'll come to that. No worries. But just understand the concept here. You have a decision to make here. Does the requirement have, does it have the requirement of the dynamicity I need? Do I need to program, maybe, for example, I need to fetch some data, some values, maybe the cluster name, maybe, for example, the how many numbers of the cluster need, maybe how many user account, maybe the traffic flow, the security group configuration coming from a database. Then I need to use some kind of say programming language, fetch the data through the programming language, connect to the database and get it. See, then the requirement of programming coming. But if you have a JSON file, for example, if you already know about, say, configuration, you can have say JSON like data. Then you can utilize this YML and JSON, where you are not interacting with the database, when not you are interacting with the APIs to get the infra data required to create the infrastructure. Okay, so this is your decision moment. So you are preferring YML or HCL, which is HashiCorp programming language, which is lookalike of JSON. Okay, if you have real programming requirement, then you're coming. Okay, you have the Pulumi, you have the AWS CDK, you have the Crossplane. Crossplane also people think is only YML based because it's Kubernetes specific. By the way, for Crossplane also there is content I have already created. I think this one. You can always search. Okay, honestly, you can just go above and search about the Crossplane, and I'll be this I think Crossplane actually paid case study which I have put so many hours to prepare and all. If you're a premium member, you can always study this one, which already covered installation, actual lot of use cases and all that. Free community one I'll write maybe tomorrow or maybe Monday. I'll just do that as part of the 60 days of DevOps thing. But yeah, that is content is there. If you are looking for, content is there already. Okay, so that's right. So the Crossplane thing, let me come here. Okay, so CDK, Crossplane, Pulumi have covered all the content already. So Pulumi specifically, if you have worked in Terraform, okay, Terraform you specifically mention the all the infrastructure, resource, and everything in a HCL format, okay, which is HashiCorp language. Now, if you have a requirement, as I say, from the database you have to get the value, then you have to dynamically create the infra and all this requirement, and you want to use your choice of programming language. Could be Python, could be Go, could be Golang. That based on your requirement you want to utilize, then you go for the Pulumi. As simple as that. Now, for example, in Pulumi, another reason if you should go if you have a requirement to work with not just AWS or Azure, or maybe not non AWS. This is AWS they may be utilizing, but maybe need to additionally create some infra related to Azure, or maybe you need to create some infra cloud resources based on the GCP, or maybe just maybe other cloud other provider, and you want to do that dynamically by programming language, then you come to the Pulumi. Okay, but for example, if it's only specific to AWS, no other cloud involved, okay, then AWS is CDK also offered the the leverage of the programming language. Could be using TypeScript, could be Python, could be other language. Okay, that also you can utilize if it's AWS specific. You, for example, you are already very deep into the AWS ecosystem, and you want to utilize something that is developed, that is maintained by AWS and not maybe other sources, then your preference could be AWS CDK, which is open source, by the way. Okay. Now, if you want more like using, if for example, if you are managing a lot of Kubernetes infrastructure and you are very pro at Kubernetes, you want to maintain the infrastructure in the Kubernetes as a Kubernetes custom resources, then you come for the Crossplane. And by the way, Crossplane also support for the, so you can use the for example, you can use any programming language. Go, you can utilize KCP, I think KCL something is there, you can utilize that one. Okay. Oh, one thing I think from why I'm actually monthly plan available, Pratyush. You just have to, okay, let's just let me show him. I know this is not the right time. So if you go to pricing, if you come down, there is this monthly option. So if you just know, okay, just give you idea. Monthly option is there, is already there. The problem with the monthly that they charge 45 rupees extra. I don't have to do. They just do it. Okay, anyway. But anyway, let's not go there. It's already there. Just search for it. Okay. Now, yeah, let's come to the topic. So this is about programming language based selection. If it's heavy programming, multi-cloud requirement, you should be utilizing Pulumi. If it's only AWS specific, but you want to utilize general purpose programming language as a high level programming language like JavaScript, TypeScript, Python, Go, then you go for the CDK, AWS CDK. If you have the requirement to do all that via Kubernetes custom, so Kubernetes related maybe, okay, then you go for the Crossplane. Okay. Now, yeah. Now, for example, while selecting the YML and HCL, okay, there you have to make a decision. Okay, for example, same thing. Okay, because the CDK actually, if you have utilized, if you not utilize, no problem. Already free content available on LinuxOps about CDK. I think. See, this is completely available free of cost. So basically, in CDK, you have the option for the synthesize. Okay, which ultimately what happened, the code that you write in AWS CDK that generate the cloud formation templates, which is YML, right? So if you like, if you want to actually maybe some programmers write the this particular code, okay, and they give you the particular YML in CDK, particular YML for the cloud formation, you can utilize that one, right? So yeah, if are you deploying to AWS and you want some dynamicity or maybe cloud formation, then go for the CDK. If for example, no, you are not only specific to AWS, but you want to be based on the YML and HTML kind of stuff, if you want multi-cloud, yes, choose Terraform. Even Crossplane also multi-cloud is there, but if you are choosing multi-cloud on or the option is there, multi-cloud or Kubernetes specific. So if it's only multi-cloud or non-Kubernetes specific, you can go for Terraform. If it's multi-cloud plus Kubernetes specific or even maybe GitOps preferred, then you go for the Crossplane. Okay. Now need an ecosystem for proof of stability. If you need to be more stable, because Terraform, not the latest version, honestly, their latest version always fails for some reason, but which is more of a stable past release, that's considered to be stable, okay, that you can replace. Now for example, you want better dynamicity, better, the coding part again, the dynamicity part, then only you go for Pulumi. Like, anyway, because if you're fully preferring for the YML or HCL base, you go for the Terraform. That's the bottom line. If you have a other suddenly other requirements comes up, but you want the multi-cloud, you want to be a bit more stable environment, then you can go Pulumi. Okay, so now let's come to the do you want imperative logic, or loops condition? If yes, if you want the dynamicity, okay, you are generating the maybe cloud formation template, okay, but you want to do that a lot of condition, lot of dynamicity you need, okay, then you use the CDK, which ultimately will generate you the YML files that you can pass on to your infra team. But you need to have the dynamicity. But if your infra requirement doesn't have too much of condition, because if you have too much condition, if you use the dynamic block of Terraform, if you use the ternary operation, there's a ternary conditional operation in Terraform, it is so complicated. Honestly, I sometimes, when I see the code of past engineer, I sometimes like, what have they have done? I mean, what they have done is so much complicated. So those things matter. If you don't want to overcomplicate your things, which is already overcomplicated, if it's a long-term project, for example, running for 1 or 2 years, then if you have used too much dynamic blocks or too much conditional operators, then it become extremely hard to handle. It's not that scalable anymore. Okay, if you want too much of dynamicity based on different conditions, like actual capabilities of programming language, don't go for Terraform. If you want the capabilities of full programming language, go for something like Pulumi, go for something like AWS CDK. Those are much more preferred. Okay, but if you don't, another thing, like if your team doesn't have that programming skill, it's not like I want to go for Pulumi, or I want to go for example, CDK. I just go jump on the next day. No, it doesn't work like that. While analyzing the requirements, you also have to make sure your team has the capability to handle the workload. They just cannot learn in 1 or 2 days and complete. I mean, if you're a senior engineer like me, for example, working for 10, 15 years, that's a different matter. But if you're a junior team member, if you're a mid-level engineer, it will be hard for them, right? So all these things, all this decision you have to go through to make the final decision based on your requirement, what solution for the infrastructure code you should be utilizing. Okay, so that is, you have to make sure. Now I've already mentioned all that. I have for example, Ansible, Terraform, what are the different use cases, this selection of all that, the differences. Okay, I've already mentioned this web page, you already have the link, go through that, and I think that will be good enough. And okay, by the way, for example, for each let's just go by the example. I think that will be very interesting to actually see the codes to understand how things work. Okay, for example, we are utilizing the OS config level task. For example, we are installing some web servers. Okay, then we can utilize the Ansible playbooks, right? Where you use the Ansible control. I mean, controller, which could be your own machine. So ultimately, you have the Ansible binary, which will you execute, and that will read your YML files that is you have in Ansible playbook, and will create or install the resources. So install the softwares, for example, in your target virtual machines. Okay, for example, installing Nginx, restarting the Nginx, all this kind of configuration management tasks, you should be utilizing the using the Ansible, right? Now, for example, you have the requirement to create the multiple cloud. So let's just for now think about creating some EC2 instance, or could be some VPC resource, or could be any cloud specific resources. Then you come to Terraform, okay? And you don't want to do a much, you don't want to prefer too much of coding. No, you don't need the extreme dynamicity, you don't need too much conditional stuff. Then you can go for the Terraform, okay, where you can just easily mention the provider. For example, AWS as a cloud provider, it could be GCP, it could be Azure, it could be Kubernetes, based on what provider you're utilizing. And you still, I mean, for example, if it's cloud, then you have to give the region and what resource that you're creating. Name the resource. For example, I'm creating here AWS VPC. I'm giving the CIDR block. I'm creating the AWS instance. Now, this is very sample code. You should not be treated as a production or anything. But I just wanted to give a feel of what is the difference between Ansible, what you're doing, which is installing software, installing or maybe managing, restarting some softwares in running in Linux, Windows, whatever it is. In But Terraform, we are creating the actual cloud resources. Okay. For example, you want to install some software into the virtual machine. Now, Terraform and Ansible could work together. I'm just giving a very good idea that in Terraform, you create the infrastructure, you create the virtual machines. Then after that is created, you can utilize Ansible to install different kind of software. Now, if you ask me, like Sandeep, I can use the provisioners in Terraform. This is terrible idea. If you are thinking about utilizing provisioner to install 100 200 software, it is extremely terrible idea. I'm telling you, it's hard to manage. Your production will crash, your CEO CTO will get angry on you. I've seen that happen. So that's why I'm telling you that this is not the right idea. Just make sure Terraform actually get utilized for only infra requirement, and try to use as less as local provisioner or remote provisioner, whatever it is. Like, what are the provisioner? Provisioner means running commands. Local provisioner run in local or the controller machine, or say the machine we are executing Terraform. Remote provisioner are the actual virtual machine that you created by Terraform. For example, here this AWS instance. There we connect, okay, using the private key or whatever the scheme that you have specified while creating the virtual machine via the, say, Terraform template. Then we connect it and run the remote commands. It could be now. I would prefer, if you actually have a requirement to install something or maybe configure something, use the user data. I mean, in EC2, it support the user data, right? Or say startup instructions, startup scripts. There I just mentioned that, but it should not be utilized like 100, 200 software. For that, you have the Ansible, right? Ansible, you can use 100 software in 1000 machine, uninstall 100 software in 1000 machine, restart 100 servers. Those kind of crazy things. When you have the requirement, you can utilize. It should not be used in Terraform. That clear difference you have to understand. Because many, even when I take interviews, like many engineers, I'm saying, is Ansible good enough for creating the infra? I say, yes, yes. So why yes? You should be I should be telling that no, for in cloud infra purpose, it's Terraform is there. There is Pulumi is there. Okay, why should we be using Ansible? That clear difference you have to have while giving interviews. If you give like bland wrong answer like that, that's bad for your interview. Okay, but anyway, you understand that why Terraform should be used. I mean, when Terraform should be used and when the Ansible should be used. Okay, now the CDK. Okay, like, see, Terraform also, you can create the infrastructure. For example, virtual machine EC2 instances, the network, that is VPC, the bucket, that is it's S3 bucket, all those kind of right things. CDK also, you can do all these things. CDK, actually, AWS have their proprietary solution, that is CloudFormation. What CDK doing, that your whatever code you're writing, that code getting converted to the CloudFormation, and then the CloudFormation stack getting executed. Okay, again, I have explained that very very carefully in this particular blog, which is open for all. You can just go. This is actually 60 days of DevOps, day 51. By the way, it's already day 51 is started. Already so much. Only 9 days are remaining, so we are close to finishing off the this particular uh, 60 days of DevOps, which is great feat, which like something this big getting completed. Okay, so anyway, but if you want to learn CDK, start from somewhere. This is one of the place you should be focusing on starting. Okay. Okay, let's come back. Okay, so here you can see I'm creating a bucket. So I'm importing AWS S3 and then Lambda, for example, execute something based on the upload and all that. So we can just mention all those things in the CDK. Okay, so again, you can utilize Terraform also to do that, right? When should be using a CDK? If you have the programming skill, if your team have the programming skill, that's the number one point. If you are very very specific to only using the AWS, then should be the decision making point. Okay, but if you are using, say, you want to implement something Azure, if you want to implement something in other cloud, then CDK is not the right choice. That you also have to understand very importantly. Okay, now Pulumi. Okay, now Pulumi give whatever the features that CDK giving, whatever the features that Terraform giving, in general purpose programming language. What's the top level programming? For example, using the TypeScript, Python, Go, all this it's .NET also. So all this programming language, you can use any of your choice. For example, you're a Java engineer, for example, you're Go engineer, you're a Python engineer, whatever is your strong programming language, use that and utilize the Pulumi. Okay, and Pulumi documentation, I think they improved a lot when it started 3 4 years back, and I found very terrible. But now it's improved a lot. Even Pulumi, I have also covered the Pulumi, but I think it's okay. I think Pulumi I've covered for the free community. Okay, so you can just come and you can start learning the Pulumi also. I've covered from basics, so you can start from there. Again, how to search? Just go to this, either go to the 60 days of DevOps or go to search. Search is extremely good. Okay, so you can just search, say Pulumi, and you can see this. Yeah, not the case studies actually for paid users, which is much more in depth. But starting part, you can use this Pulumi to invest code with the real programming language. You can start with that. Okay, so that you can utilize to start learning the Pulumi. Okay, now that you understand why Pulumi, when you need the requirement, you have a requirement of multiple cloud. When you have the requirement using general purpose programming language or top level programming language, what you want to say it, and then you should be using the Pulumi. Okay, now what about the Crossplane? Okay, Crossplane actually, it's a Kubernetes way of managing infrastructure. Okay, what is that? Now in Kubernetes, for example, let's go to Crossplane. I think again, let's go here in this page. Search for the Crossplane. I'll just, even though it's a premium space study, I'll just show some parts. Okay, so Crossplane and say case study Crossplane. Okay, it's a Terraform clear. I personally think so. It's already version 2 is there, which is much more involved, and sooner or later it will take overthrow Terraform. Anyway, let me come to down to the simple way, how you're defining that. Not installation part, step by step installation, blah blah blah, that I did. Yeah, so let's go down. Let's go down. You have to install the AWS provider. Like say in Terraform, you have to install provider. Crossplane also you have to use the AWS provider. Okay. Yeah. Okay. For example, this one. How in the other place? For example, in the you did here in the I think I covered some example. Yeah, for example, RDS instance. Okay, that I'm just mentioning as a Kubernetes YML. Okay, that's custom resource because the RDS instance is not a native Kubernetes resource; it's a custom defined. That's why the Crossplane, you can define your custom resources. Could be your RDS instance, could be bucket, could be EC2 instance, whatever the things you can write as a kind of a Kubernetes manifest. Okay, and then you can instruct Crossplane to create. How can you do that? So you can just then run this particular script. Okay, for example, you're creating a bucket. The moment you execute that one, it will create the bucket. Okay, like this Crossplane bucket, whatever the bucket mentioned, that bucket will get created. Okay, dynamically. And for example, you want to delete the bucket, you can just say kubectl delete bucket. Okay, so these are the different ways you can create the resource in Crossplane. Now Crossplane, I do have a plan, not just Crossplane. Okay, I do have a plan to have end-to-end projects for Terraform. Already have many projects. If you go to my GitHub, I think 5-10 projects you'll get it. But if you see Pulumi, if you see CDK or say Crossplane, I didn't make end-to-end project yet. So my next goal is going to be in next few days or maybe a week to create an end-to-end project for each. Okay, so you have a better understanding how it works, how you can have a starter project and all that. So that I will do, that I have planned. But yeah, that is the entire thing. But now you have a more better understanding, like why Crossplane. If you are very good at Kubernetes and you want to utilize your Kubernetes skills to manage the infrastructure in a much more dynamic way, define your own cloud resources using this custom resource type that is provided by the AWS provider for Crossplane, then you go for the Crossplane. Okay, if you don't want to go for that, if you don't that not that good in Kubernetes, not want to go for the custom resource based thing, you are good at programming language, then go for Pulumi. And if you want to, of course, use the multi-cloud requirement, go for Pulumi using programming language. If you have only requirement of using programming language but only for AWS, then you can go for the CDK. If you don't want to use programming language, then come to the Terraform. I hope you guys understand the differences, how the decision you are making. Okay, this is the way you should be choosing what infrastructure code to utilize. Okay, now I think I have given the good idea for you guys. Let's go with our question. Okay, let's, I think, a lot of question. A lot of question. I reply. Okay, so any question? I think now you got the idea. I didn't. I mean, I got directly to the point. There's no fillers, no time waste. I went with directly whatever I had to say. Okay. Now you guys must have question because you are already in the field. You guys are already cloud and DevOps engineer, maybe working with some tools, maybe not working like maybe you just only Terraform, not other things. Whatever question that is coming to your mind could be any question. And no question, by the way, no question is silly question to me. You can ask me any fundamental level question also, I'll answer that. Okay. I have 30 minutes. Okay. So because I started at 7:30, so I always plan for at least 1 hour. Okay. So if you have any question, feel free to ask and I will feel free to answer that. Okay. Okay, so let's see what are the questions from Dariel. Hi Sandeep, nice to see you. You are live today. Thank you. Really appreciate all the hard work. Thank you. So Dariel is actually our premium member. So yes. Now, not sure if most people really consider Ansible to be an AIC tool, but yes, because see, any tool. Because see, in Ansible also the reason why I have given, you can utilize the Ansible Galaxy, AWS Galaxy, and other modules also to create the AWS infra. So Ansible is actually the most preferred way. I would say it's a configuration management, but you can utilize as a cloud resuscitation tool also. So ultimately, infra as a code. Okay. Yeah, for I think the example that I given, for example, Terraform is very good at configuring resources once they are created, and this is where Ansible can help, which is right, as I mentioned. My dear friend Chirag Nair, wow, dada, thank you, Chirag. You should come to Kolkata. If not came to Kolkata, I'll come to Singapore sooner or later with family. So maybe I will see. But if you're coming Kolkata, come to my house. That's uh, Meme, another good friend of mine. Hi Sandeep, great job, thank you. Okay, so the real saying that I agree on the provisioner tool for Terraform should be as I say. Um, Using provisioner in Terraform is a terrible idea. As terrible as using too much of conditional in Terraform. That'll make the life hell. Honestly, I mean, I've seen a project where so complicated. Even I make it more complicated later on. I don't have the way. I have to deliver the stuff quickly. So based on different conditional, utilizing different modules and all that, which can be handled different way. Can be using kind of parameterized folder structure, or can be using the what is called workspaces also can be handled, but ultimately that is not done, which is not done. It's already too large project to move migrate. I think at the moment before 2 months of living, I did use the Terraform migration scripts to like move script to migration, move script to move from the terrible format to the right format. But yeah, after that I don't know. Hi Vavesh, Vavesh from Ahmedabad, another good friend of mine. Mohammed Mazrul, hello, can you please gives the strategy on how to search project. I have less than 2 experience. See, um, searching project, there, if you go for normal companies, okay, that is will be better because of the years of experience are less. People trust the engineers with more experience, more portfolios, and more trust level. Okay, maybe goodwill and all that matters. But if you're just building, I would say at the beginning you should not search for the individual projects or contract projects. You should search, go to a company, work there for 3-4 years. Okay, then you become the individual contractor or start your own company. That's your choice. But I would say at least 3-4 years you should have very good experience how things work, how the office politics works, how to handle the client, how to communicate with the client. All things are important. Okay. Nikhil, I think I already covered the Ansible and Linux. See, Linux is different. By the way, you guys, I don't know if you guys know or not. The book that is, let's go to the homepage. I think most of you guys know, but if you don't know, shell scripting handbook is have released. You just can, if you're the pro member, you can just come to this page, shell scripting handbook, and you can download. This is actually in the homepage. If you're pro member, if you're not aware that, because like, see, I send the mails, but sometimes mails go to spam. I tried to like configured so much complexity to make sure that doesn't go to the this what do you call it, spam folder, but some things that are beyond my control. So yes, if you, I mean, you should regularly check the site for the updated resources. I'm updating resource every single day. Okay, what happening these days, I'm telling you, I'm waking up at 4 or 5 a.m. based on when I'm sleeping. I'm writing the premium article. For example, this is the premium article. Okay, for example, this one. case study, open tofu. Okay, so I write design this particular diagram which takes time 1 or 2 hour. Then I write every single thing here. I optimize. Do the spell check using ChatGPT and all that, because I'm terrible at spelling and all that. I'm not non-English speaking, so you understand that part. And then I write it very carefully and do all that, right? So that takes time. So that content I do on the morning, and then I have the entire day, right? Sometime, half an hour, 1 hour when I get. So when I'm have done the lunch, I have time. Then I'm doing the community content. For example, this CDK part is a community content, free for everyone. So those I'm doing. Okay, so that's why you should be checking daily. I'm releasing 2 articles per day. So yeah, we have a lot of content. And again, if you have doubt, if you think that you want to search for something, always come to this search section. Okay, here in this particular UI, click on search, and that's a very good search. Honestly, searching is very good at Go CMS. So you search, for example, Ansible, or say Terraform. I see a lot of resource on Terraform. So this is the thing you should be exploring. Okay, now get back to the questions. I don't want to promote too much, otherwise we will say we are promoting too much, Sandeep. But it's good thing I'm promoting. Right? Linux Ops, one of it was. See, I have faced so many failures before. Okay, using Linux, Sandeep, and all other stuff. Um, but ultimately, all those experiences helped me to develop this site. Okay, and this site becomes so great. I'm proud of myself building this site, because of course it takes extremely hard efforts to create the content, the relevant content that you can utilize day-to-day basis in your job. And then do quality content, and all this takes time. Diagram making is very difficult. One by one, single you have to place and design. It's complicated. Okay, but I do it, no problem. I have the patience. So yeah, that you have. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and feel free to ask in LinkedIn if you have any questions. One question from Hassan. Hassan is also our premium member. Thank you, Hassan. Hassan, nice to see you. Interested in Pulumi. I know you already requested for that, so don't worry. First, okay, what we'll do. See, Crossplane, the example I've given in the side as a case study, you already have the access. Those are good enough. You can get started with that. Pulumi, I will give one end-to-end project as soon as possible. So don't worry, I have that in my plan. I will definitely do that. Okay, so don't worry on that. Any questions? Let me go ahead. Okay, recent. I Sandeep, we show the flowchart earlier. Join late. So yeah, flowchart actually, if you join late, what you should do? Come to the Linux of site. Okay, and come down, you see the latest, this particular article, choosing the right ISE tool, Terraform versus CDK versus all the stuff. Click on that. This is I think it's marked as a premium. It should not be marked as premium. Let me check this. Okay, Ghost, published. This is how I edit, by the way. And there is no shame to show how I edit. Okay, so let me make this. It's not a premium content. It's actually it's free, right? Oh, I think I'm by mistake I made it premium only. You guys should tell me I made some mistake. No problem. Anyway, fixing that. Cloud native, blah blah blah. Crossplane. I will just add those tag later on. Let's add the community tag. I want to make sure it's free. Okay, so now it is accessible by everybody as a free content. You have to become a member, of course, because I know, because the reason I'm already allowing member only, I know that who is utilizing site right way, not misusing the content. All this thing I have to track. So yeah, now it's a community content. Um, so yeah, come down here. You see this choosing the right ISE tool. Click on that. It's a community article. Now you can just get this particular this flow diagram. Just you can access and of course, even if you have problem with the viewing that particular thing, you can just download in your local machine this diagram just using this link. Okay, you can download um, from the this Google Drive, and also I've explained this decision making flow in the down below. What happened? Sometime I write content, I think it can be improved. So even if paid members know that when I in the morning I write, I told them, see, before sending the evening mail, I will make as much as improvement possible, and I do that because I want to make sure quality is good. If I missed anything at the moment of writing the content, later on I should be updating and fixing that in the same day, because next day I have next content to write, right? So I'll not have that much of time to look at the other piece of content. So yeah, this is how you should be accessing. If you all joining freshly and you don't see that one, come back, come to the screen, and you can have that here. Okay. Okay. Now let me. Mm, okay, profile. Scenes, your scene window. Let me come back here. Let's go with any other question. Okay. There's in YouTube no questions. Mm, if not question, then I'll drop early. What happened? Your live streaming setup looks really good. Okay, so it's from Daniel. Your live streaming setup looks really good, very professional. Is also okay. The Linux is also very well done. I'm not. I know you are busy, so no worries. You have the premium subscription, Daniel. You can go and look, check out the content anytime you want. Okay. Yeah. So yes, another thing that you put out the content so fast. You have to, otherwise, the reason being why. Okay, so one thing you can consider as an announcement and all that. If you actually, let me show you the part that is important here. Okay, I mean, I'm writing the general specific content, for example, using for the infra as a code for other thing, but my next goal is going to be the AI. Okay, so I'm actually already started writing the AI content. I don't know, people are MCP, for example. See, MCP. Actually, there's a tag I will show you. Okay, so MCP, like, these are the things that you have to update yourself. If you're a cloud and DevOps engineer, I don't have to tell anybody. You already know AI and ML is the future. Like my profile. I have myself changed to ML, platform engineer, ML engineer. The reason being, I mean, okay, if you guys, I mean, most of you guys know my history. I started from the front end, then the PHP, then the Python, like, sorry, JavaScript, then Python, then Go. I always change myself with the time, the flow of the time, you can say. Then Kubernetes, okay, then other stuff, okay. Then ML when the game, the initial level I was fearing ML, honestly, because I thought, okay, what in the hell it is, it's making no sense. But I still keep going on. I started the master's course, I done this and that, I started learning from certificate courses. All this thing helped me to ultimately move to this ML, because I knew that if I have to make good money, I have to be relevant in the current market. I have to become an ML engineer, not ML engineer, ML ops engineer, because I don't want to become a pure ML engineer. There are already pure ML engineer there. My expertise always been cloud, means DevOps, right? And if I want to be more relevant, using my skills, I have to move towards the ML, right? So that's the reason there is a particular ML series. Right now, it's only 2 articles, but don't worry. Actually, 3 articles should be, but right now 2 articles. My end goal is preparing yourself the future. There is agentic, AI and stuff. There is MCV deep dives. There is model building. I started the MLOps series, but I know I focus back to this. Not focus back. I move my focus completely to this. Linux ops. Now Linux ops coming very good in terms of content quality, in terms of delivery, on time, creating content. So next thing is that started putting more AI content. Now, okay, I already had talk with a particular person who is very good at AIML, but he is busy. Okay, so and see, I also started improving my skills. So I think my skills are good enough now. I can easily write all this ML content, and I will be doing that content. Okay, so no worries, you will have very good quality content. Okay, so yes, that is what I was talking about. um, okay, so one question from Daniel. I thought the Gen AI thing would be temporary, but I have convinced now it's going to go. It's not going to go. Yes, to stay relevant. Exactly, Daniel got it right way. You have to update yourself. Now, one thing, I understand. Being just cloud and DevOps engineer, you are not feeling that confident to move to AI and ML space, or you don't know. Actually, even if you go to my YouTube channel, there is a MLOps roadmap there. There is AOps roadmap there. I will highly encourage you to check that out. And if you're not getting time, it's good. It's okay. Within next, not months but weeks, okay, I'll be publishing a series of the next ML content, specifically to ML ops, specifically to AI ops. Okay, those will be really good. Okay, with the diagrams, my IP. People are calling it IP, but okay. So I make good diagrams now. I improve myself. I'll be making the clear diagrams for the AML models, building, and all the stuff. You'll be having. I'll be doing my best to explain AML concept, actually building the models, implementing, deploying, which is going to be your responsibility as a ML ops engineer, right? And maintaining that all those things. I'll make sure it will be delivered, the content will be delivered to you, so you can make it in real life. That is my end goal now. Okay. But to have that all these things, you need to have all these skills. For example, Pulumi, for example, this what I was showing, right? Terraform, for example, cloud skills. All those things will be required in order to achieve that your final MLOps goal. It's not a single just ML skills will not make you a good MLOps engineer. Just DevOps skills or cloud skill will not make you a good MLOps engineer. It's a combination of both. Understanding of ML and the experience of the DevOps engineer will make you a successful MLOps engineer. That is my goal that I'm working so hard for. First, this DevOps content, quality DevOps content. I already started with some MLOps content, which is basic level, I will say. But yeah, it is going to a particular goal that I've imagined. So yeah, you will be sooner or later uh, will be reaching there. Which content? Okay, let me move the scene. What is that? Just me. Okay. So from Hassan, which contents will cover in remaining 16 DevOps series? Any plan? Can you expect the end-to-end project level? Yeah, I mean, end-to-end Kubernetes project. Now it's going to be more end-to-end projects. As I say, that Pulumi end-to-end project, the EKS project. I was actually planning for the EKS either tomorrow or on Monday. I have a plan to give a complete end-to-end production level EKS deployment for paid members, okay, of course, and then not as a part of the 60 days plan, but 60 days plan, I'll do some sort of like that, maybe, because too much in depth I should not go. I'll just go to a certain extent. Okay, that I'll have there. Sonke saying better learn. So I will not suggest that any software that you are utilizing that can AI can operate properly. Okay, so you have to be very very careful. If it's just about a software and thing, it can be replicated. But if it's too much operation involved, too much complexity is there which AI cannot handle at this moment, maybe next after 5 6 years, but you have this gap of 5 6 years, you can work on that, you can make money, and when things are changing, you make your new way. Okay, that should be your goal, to adapt. The best skills are not the technical skill, not just the technical skill, not just the other specific, it's an adaptation. How fast you can adapt to the time, that will become your greatest skill. Okay. Okay, let's see other questions. I think a lot of questions coming, and very good question, by the way. Agree. Okay, let's see. Oh, one question came that are you planning any training? See, training will become a part of this, but not immediately at the moment. Later on, maybe. Okay. Okay, your lesson. Okay, any good questions? I will see any further question. I'm answering from LinkedIn. So see other. Okay. Okay, I think I answered most of my LinkedIn questions. Good. YouTube also. Okay, by the way, I think I was answering this question with Hassan. I think I forward to other place. So yeah, next going to be end-to-end, few of the end-to-end project that I planned using. So I have a Go series going on actually that I didn't finish. So I'm linking that to 60 days of DevOps, and it will be a Go project end-to-end implementation and deployment in the cloud and doing CI/CD and all the stuff, like a more of a capstone project that I'm planning. So that will be on there, and of course there is some specific monitoring, specific other tools are all the stuff are there that I'll be covering. Planning I'm doing based on my thought process after thinking critically. I'm kind of looking at what I've done, looking at what is the current market demand, looking at what should be important to learn. I'm deciding that. I mostly decided 1 week back. So let's see. You will know. Again, you will know before than any other person because you're in the paid Discord group. But I'll share. Don't worry. Yeah, more Kubernetes will be there that you can understand from the current Kubernetes content itself. So yeah, you already know. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? Some message came in the LinkedIn and let's see. Do let me know if you have planned live training in the future. The problem is that okay, so I have registered Don't worry. It takes. Okay, I think okay, one thing I have to tell you. Okay, people don't know. If you're paying for the Linux Premium, give at least 1 hour to 24 hours, based because um, it's the payment gateway. If I want the fast resolution, they're charging more, and if I am going a slow resolution, slow giving me the API call and all that, they're charging less. I want to charging less to my members also. That's the reason I go for the less charging method. So it takes, sometimes it's fast, sometimes within 5, 10, 20 minutes, sometimes it take hours, sometimes 2 hours. So wait for that. You will definitely get a welcome email automatically. If not, I will manually send. That's not a problem, but it will be there. Be patient. Within few hours, you'll get the access to all the premium content. Sometimes people call me saying that something I'm not getting access. Don't worry, you already paid for it. You will get it. If you don't get within 24 hours, just mail me. I will make sure the service is activated. Okay, so don't worry on that part. You will get a welcome email if you have paid for the premium services. You will definitely get a email from me. Okay, so look out for that. Okay, let's see any other question. Feel free to ask me. But I want to assure that all will be looking, taking a look. So yeah, if no more question, that I will end the session here. Let's see. If you have any question, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'll drop. But you guys got the idea of the session, right? Based on what requirement should be what, using which infra as a code tool. That decision about the decision this session was. It has happened very fast, which is good. But yeah, if no question, then I'll just drop off. Mm, okay, I think no question then. Okay, so I think that's it. Thank you for staying this long. And yeah, become Linux Ops Premium member if you're considering it. And yeah, you'll get the really get, you already saw the really great content already. Use the search section for searching about whatever the thing it is searching. If it's there in my post, you have the access. Okay. So yeah, see you soon in my next session or my next blog or article. Okay. And one really great course coming on FinOps. You will be amazed. Okay, I have worked so hard on that day and night to make that course, because cloud billing is a big problem for all the companies. Okay, you have the right skill, you can actually shine there. That is my goal. That was my goal to build that course, and I think that is ready now. Soon, maybe next week or so, we'll get an email from me about the course announcement. I mean, you can just go to that course. Okay, so yeah, look for that. Look for all other my emails. I just sent. By the way, if you are Linux One normal member or premium member, doesn't matter. If the mail coming to, for example, coming to spam or promotions, do one thing: move that to your primary folder and reply to that. Say hi Sandeep, okay, got it, received. Just once, okay. Then it will make sure next time onwards the mail will go to your primary inbox. That, because see, I am using a bulk email sender using called mailgun, okay, by Snitch. So what happened when I'm sending the email, based on the IP it's sending, if it's from a say blacklisted or something, it's going to spam. I don't have the control over. If there is I pay more for say per month, I think $100 or $200 more, but that will increase my cost, right? So that's the thing. I mean, the more advanced feature I want, the things are how it programmed, the cost will be more. Okay, so I'm trying to sustain the things. So that's why sometimes things will come into spam. So make sure that every time if it's coming spam, just 1 or 2 times, I think, not every time, you have to just move to the primary folder. Next time onward, it will come to your primary folder. Okay, that thing, my request, you guys should do it. Okay, so yeah, now it's done. Thank you for staying this long. It's already now 1 hour, and yeah, I hope able to help you out making the informed infrastructure code decision. Okay, see you soon in my next video.